Okay, welcome back to the channel, people. I have nothing to hide anymore. I have nothing to lose anymore. So let's just come straight out with it. How much money I lost so far, or I'm losing, I'm about to lose, will be revealed. Because at this point, it's all about moving forward. So you can see everything full transparency, and I'm going to really prove this channel, whether it works or not. Full disclosure, but everything I've done in terms of financial trades and everything will be revealed in this video to basically analyze whether what I'm doing is worth a damn. First trade I ever made, Nintendo. That was back in before the Wii came out, and if I remember correctly, I thankfully, and through the grace of God, I was able to make around 10,000, either Canadian or US dollars, I can't remember. So I came out 10,000 plus. Let's just equal both currencies. Let's just say they're one right now, so they're all one and the same. So that was the first one I did. Second one that was significant, I believe was Beyond Meat, and I think that was about maybe 6,000. So it was plus 16,000 overall. And then Bitcoin, I was able to accumulate 2 Bitcoin, almost 3 Bitcoin. And then the Quadriga, the Canadian trading platform for the crypto, specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, just vanished overnight, literally overnight, and I lost all that Bitcoin pretty much. So that wasn't my fault. And I'm not here to push a victim mentality. I'm here to push the never giving up mentality. So overall, plus 16,000. Biggest loss was when I invested, I can't remember how much it was, but in one day I made 10,000 Canadian dollars. And then the following day I lost 10,000 Canadian dollars. So even Steven there. So we cancel that out. Before we continue, just look at Hollow, the sad story with Hollow. It's just wait and see. Trying to wait for this to get back to at least a decent amount. Maybe even $7 would be a good idea, 7 to 10. Because if the squeeze is ever coming, God knows if it is. But if and when it ever does, it's most likely going to squeeze to at least $5 to $10, maybe 20 at the most. Just have to temper expectations. 40 might be out of the realm of possibility. Anything's possible. Just have to wait and see. It's all up to the head honchos of Hollow. So anyway, back to my story. The next trade I remember was significant trade was when I bought the shares of, it's a company called Co-Diagnostics. This was before the pandemic really blew up, around January, March 2020. And I bought thousands of shares for, I want to say $2 to $3, and then it exploded to 20 to 30 bucks. The stock exploded. Ended up plus 50 to 70,000, and I was really high on my horse, and before I knew it, all that money I didn't sell at the right time, so I learned the hard way. Exit strategy, entry strategy. So I lost about 50,000 of that, so I ended up with 20,000, which is roughly what I started with, I want to say. It's hard to say how much I made in profit. So let's just say it's even Steven. I really don't know if I lost or gained. And then metamaterials, that was interesting to say the least. I ended up losing, how much money was that? I want to say almost 20,000. So we're about even Stevens, because I did make about 16. So let's say I lost around 20. Maybe I'm negative 4,000. I don't know. And then with this recent play of Hollow, I invested, I think, around 10, 12,000 roughly 10,000 US dollars, and right now it's like down the drain. Practically is worth, I think, $1,000 to $2,000. So overall, I'd say I'm negative 10,000. So if you're gonna follow this channel, I mean, that's up to you. It's a high risk you're taking, but the point is, I'm gonna be posting exactly how much money you have and how much shares, because I don't think anyone cares if it's just like $100. No one's gonna manipulate $100. They don't really. It's like pocket change. Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin before we move on. So Bitcoin hit a little bit of a ceiling. I want to say at 140, 139, 140 Canadian. I think it will break this eventually, especially once January 20th is completed, the inauguration of the new president, and or I should say the returning president. It's going to be interesting how Bitcoin will move. I think it'll hit 150, eventually 200,000, and then 1 million. It's going to take a while, but it'll get there to 1 million. It already hit 100,000, so that's a milestone in and of itself. Okay, so next we will look at MicroStrategy, Coinbase, and SDIG. So is it worth it? I think it's worth it. As long as you're alive and you have hope. People can lose money throughout their lives, but interestingly enough, Warren Buffett and a lot of these billionaires ended up making a lot of their money in their twilight years, not when they were young. So there's hope. There's definitely hope. MicroStrategy looked like a great buy not too long ago. It looked like it was heading to $500. 52-week high of 543. Yeah, it was really headed for higher highs. It was right about to break. It says, I don't know, it says 543, so that must have been an intraday high. Yeah, perhaps. If you look at the last year, yeah, that was the intraday high. So what is support looking like for this stock? If you ask me, I'm going to say something between 120 to 200. I still think this is too high, 330. I would wait for it to drop, because as much as Bitcoin is strong and MicroStrategy is backed by Bitcoin, there's still short sellers and people want to bring the stock down. I mean, it can say it's Bitcoin tied, and it is, certainly is, but because it's on the stock market and it is subject to stock market rules and being traded on weekdays, not weekends, it's not traded 24/7 like crypto is. It's not, it only is traded from 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday, and it's subject to market manipulation, short sellers, all the tomfoolery. So yeah, that is still a risky play. So that's why I would say get this at 120 to 200. MicroStrategy is a great play. We just have to wait for it to hit those levels. And speaking of which, I'm going to set those on my phone. I'm going to put the alerts up, because this is one of the best no-brainer plays in the stock market. I talked about NBTs. NBT is a no-brainer trade. So let's set my notifications for 120 and 200. Just gonna do that on my phone here. So 200, yeah, that's my entry point. Preferred. Coinbase. Great stock. Not as good as MicroStrategy, but it's actually doing better overall. It's not as shorted. So what is the entry point? You're looking at 120 to 150. Yeah, 120 to 150 for that Coinbase. Let's put that on my alerts as well. So 120 and 150. SDIG, it's not one I want to buy, so I'm going to just skip over that. I'm looking for no-brainer trades because I'm back in the game. Everybody, I'm going to start trading as soon as one of these stocks that I am setting alerts for hits the entry point. Gold, not looking to buy that in terms of the stock. Disney skip, DJT skip, but we'll look at it. Excuse me. QuantumScape's a good one. Okay, we'll do only 3 at a time. Just not to overwhelm my laptop here. So we're going to be doing videos of a more demure, I don't know if that's the right word, but not as bombastic as before, just because times are really rough right now. I just want to do a video, get it over with, get the video out there, not have this big production. So DJT, is this a good buy? Let's examine this a little closely. A little closer. $12 is the entry point. I don't know how viable the stock is into the presidency. I really don't know. It's going to be a really interesting stock to watch. But certainly this entry point is great at $12. Initially I had bought this at 24, but then I sold it because of the whole hollow thing. And I was selling it for 45 initially, but can't you do? That's life, you learn. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is the lesson to be learned there. So DJT I'm not so bullish on just because it's a big question mark in terms of just how viable that stock is. What is the potential for that stock during his presidency? I mean, that's a hard one to predict. QuantumScape, on the other hand, is easier to predict because it does have a great product. Their solid state batteries are going to change the game in terms of the electric vehicles. Keep saying electronic, but electric. And this was a great buy at below $5. I think it's headed right back up to $10. But I want to wait for it to return to below, to 470 level. I think it's going back down there. So I'm going to set my personal alert for below 5. I'll just set it for 5. Because I still think that's a great stock. QuantumScape. So $5, that's my target right now. So QuantumScape is a really good buy, and we'll check the next one. Rich Tech Robotics. This is a great stock as well. I was pushing this pretty hard with a good reason. And look at this. Look at that. 38 cents. That is a great pickup at 38 cents. That's a steal. And then look, it jumped right back up to 164. This is where it should be. If anyone wants the truth on this stock, it should be at least, this is the low end too. Why? Because if you look at the 1 year, it was up at 5 on the regular. And this is what it looks like when it squeezes. It goes to $10. So this is a fire sale. I mean, I feel like buying it tomorrow, but I still think it should be 50 cents and below. So you know what? 50 cents and below, that's my entry point for Rich Tech Robotics. I'm back in the game, and Rich Tech Robotics is part of that game plan. So I'll put an alert for 50 cents, preferably 40, but I don't know if that's really realistic. I think that was really a panic sell. 50 cents and below. That is a great play. Rich Tech Robotics, so much potential there. Robotics, AI are the future. I'm very confident this will hit a dollar plus in the next 12 months, 6 to 12 months. So I have zero resistance, hesitancy in posting this and talking about Rich Tech. They're a great stock, great company. Serve Robotics, another great company. These are all robotics companies coming up. Yeah, these three coming up are all robotics companies. This one's too expensive for my liking. Can't really afford that right now, and I don't really like that company too much. Chinese companies, steer clear. We learned from Hollow. I don't even care if it's a good one. Just I want to even look at it. Heinz, too expensive. Starbucks, that's an interesting one. I think there's a lot of potential there, but too expensive. Rumble, this one's a great one. It's just too expensive. SoundHound, interesting. Look at that. Lumen's a great stock. Peloton, that one I'm not sure about. Lucid's got potential, but I don't want to put my money in there for extended periods of time. Beyond Meat has a lot of potential still. And Novio does as well. And Nvidia is a giant. I'm going to open that one up. It's like a no-brainer. It really is. Rambus is a good stock. I don't know what PanW is. I think that's Palo Alto and Hewitt. Reddit's a great one. It's just taking off like a bat out of hell. Solid Power, that one is falling. Costco's the monster. Just too expensive. Sunrun, that's a nope. Sweet Green, a no. Too expensive, too expensive, too expensive, too expensive. Oh, this is easy. Too expensive, too expensive. It's all in triple digits. Nintendo, not too expensive, but they're kind of in transition right now. You know what? Let me give an honest look at these names. I'll read them out loud. FedEx, McKesson, Novo Nordisk, one of the biggest companies in Europe. That's Meta, Facebook, Oracle, Microsoft, Take-Two, pretty much Grand Theft Auto 6, Taiwan Semiconductor, Microchips, Surgery, Shopify, Ben Franklin, Monster Beverages, Netflix, Tesla, which is a great stock. I'll look at Tesla as well. Spotify, too expensive. Palantir, GameStop is taking off. That's really interesting. Tyson Foods, Planet Fitness, Pinterest, Complete Solaria. Kodak is taking off. That's interesting. It's above $6 for the first time in a long time. Walmart is a giant. We'll look at that. ExxonMobil, GoPro, that one's sinking. Amazon, McDonald's, one of the best stocks of all time, period. Crocs, that's getting too high for me now. I'm going to just nix that. And I think the last stock we'll look at, besides McDonald's, is, yeah, that's it. I thought there was a Walmart in there. I guess I didn't open Walmart. And that's it. Yeah, that's... Oh, did I open Walmart already? I don't remember. Okay, so we'll call that a day after we look at all these tabs. I'm not going to film another video. I'll just post this one up. This is to get me back in the game. I am back in the game. I haven't invested yet, but I have money ready to invest. So Serve Robotics, first of all, they do the delivery robots that are automated. They deliver food and so on. This is a great buy at $1, but I don't think it's going back down there. It looks like the support in the short to midterm is looking like $7, and this goes to $11 quite regularly. Like pretty regularly, it goes to $10 and plus. So this is a great buy at $7. So that would be my entry point. So I'm going to put that in there. Serve Robotics is definitely in the ledger. That's in the plans at the price of $7 and below. Because $8 is still too much of a risk for me, especially if I only have $100 US dollars to invest right now. So I'm going to start from 100 and see if that snowballs. God only knows. We'll see if he gives me favor. Symbiotic. I think that's what it's called. The next one, Symbiotic or Symbotic. This one's interesting. Great robotics company. Entry point at $18. That was a good entry point there at 18, and just doubled. In the last year, yeah, 18 was the low point. It's usually up in the 30s, 40s, and it bounced right back. I don't know much about this company though. That's the downfall, or that's the con for me. So I'm gonna close that just because I don't have a lot of confidence in this name. It's not a trusted name for me. Procept, another robotics company. Let's look at this chart. Wow, this is crazy. This is just on a tear. $70, almost 100 now. So the entry point for this looks like 60 and below. Sounds like the weather, but 60 and below is the entry point. And you can be sure it's going to go right back up to 80 plus. So that is an interesting play. I don't know if I can afford this one, but 60 and below, that is certainly, I mean, if any bad news surfaces, then yeah, it'll drop and then it'll come right back up. So I'd say 60 and below. Just to be safe, I'm going to say 50 and below, because I can't risk this small amount of money I have. I can't just gamble it away. So I'm going to say, let's put 60, but I'd prefer 50. Pending a stock market crash. All right, how many do we have left? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 left. Rumble. Rumble's a very affordable stock, and they are pretty much second fiddle to YouTube. I see a lot of potential here, especially with the YouTube censorship. YouTube, the monetization is really people being demonetized and so on. It's just discouraging a lot of people from sticking with them. Let's look at the last 5 years here. Okay, great entry point at $3. That was a year ago. I see it actually going down to $4. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I would say entry point for me is $4. Yeah, I'd say this is a good stock at $4. So Rumble at $4 is a great buy. So that's a no-brainer play for me, especially if it goes right back up to 7, 8, 9. It's going to double. So that is a good one. Rumble is good. Strong recommendation there at $4 and below. Even $5 is pretty good. That's a reasonable ask. SoundHound, the brother or sister to Shazam, the sound or music recognition software company. Let's look at this chart. $1 to $10. Okay, so what's a good entry point here? It's just loading. Okay, I apologize for this technical difficulty. I'm going to reload it and just go to a new different tab. Okay, these all timed out. These are all error 500 for some reason. So I'm very excited to get back into the game and into the trading space. It is depressing when you're paralyzed and you can't sell or buy, because you can sell, but why would you sell for a great loss? It's better to just reassemble the troops and fight to see another day. So SoundHound at $7. Okay, wow, it's really fallen from $8. This is a stable stock. It is stable, but I prefer it at $4 and below. Yeah, this is a good stock. This is a really good stock. I like these entry points, and I like how it bounced back. So this is a no-brainer play at $4 and below. And this is all within the last year, mind you. It was at $2 at one point as well. So a no-brainer entry point for me would be $4 and below for SoundHound. So that's similar. It reminds me of Rumble in terms of the chart and the entry points. So I'm going to put that as $4. And then, if or when this price hits $4 and below, again, it's like an instant buy. And then an instant sell at 7 plus. I'd say even $8 just to, it does hit $8 quite a bit, eh? So double your money with SoundHound. That's a good play. Lumen next. This is one of the best stocks in the stock market, in my opinion. Not only because of their great relationship with Microsoft, but their technology is really, really good. They have a lot to do with AI, as you may or may not know. Market cap over 7.7. Let's just round it off to 7.777 billion. And they're trading right now at $7. Is this a good entry point? That's the question. It isn't. The answer is no. It's not a good entry point. Let's look at the year to date. I prefer this at $1. But is that realistic? Probably not. So we have to look at the last 6 months only. But this could all fall apart as well. It's I'm tentative because it hasn't had a proven track record. So it's best to look at the last 6 months and then kind of wager, okay, is this a good play for the last 6 months? Entry point is looking like $4 or $5. Just eyeballing it here, it's hard to really, oh, here it is, okay. 6 months, okay, so here's your entry point at $5 and below, so maybe even $4.50. Just to be safe, I'd say $4.50. There's a lot of potential for this to collapse. But you know what? If you're bullish on it, then you're bullish on it. But $5 and it goes up $2, yeah, that's not bad. That's like 50%. And then if it goes right back up to 8, so yeah, it'd be worth your time to look at this at 460. Yeah, 460 entry point, 464. Hit that twice. So let's just say 470. That's a reasonable entry point for Lumen. 470. So I'm going to mark that down there. That's a good stock. Next, Beyond Meat. This one is questionable because how healthy is the fake meat industry right now? You just look at this chart. It doesn't look that healthy to me. This stock has been great to me. I remember making profit off this stock twice. But that was back when it used to be up in the hundreds. I remember buying it at around here in these low points, and I sold it around here. So I don't know. We'll see. That's not looking so good, in all honesty. Is there a potential for Beyond Meat to get back to at least double digits? I think there is, but I don't know, it depends. We'll see. The last year to date, will it go back up to $10? I don't know. $7? Yeah, I see that as a possibility. $7, $8. And it's broken resistance at $6. That's notable. This looked like resistance at 5. And then it broke 5. Went down to 480. So this is actually a good buy right now. At $5 and below. Will it break even further below 5? Could it go to 4? I think so. This chart isn't looking good, but I like how it did bounce back from, was at $7, went down to 5.20, then bounced right back up to 7 again, 7.40 to be exact. And now it's been driven down below 5. This could be an overreaction, might be oversold at this, where it is right now. And I think it'll get right back up to at least $6-7. So, you know what, this is an interesting play. It still is, but I'm not very bullish on it, however. I don't want to risk that, so I'm going to close that. It's only a gain of less than 50%. It's not that much of a gain. And Novio is even a bigger question mark for me. This has historically been one of the best biotech companies in terms of the stock market and how it's pretty stable overall. In the last 5 years, you can see it's been really strong. It did go through multiple stock splits, and that's why the price was never really that high. This is closer to, I want to say $35. I think it was a 10-for-1 stock split, however you want to calculate that. But in any case, let's look at the last year. So support is $4.90, $5. Resistance at 10 plus, and it hit $10 multiple times. Here it is again, $11. Here it drops to 7, and it's just been a decline since July of this year. So not too long ago it's been up, but we did break resistance at $5, and we're almost at $3. Will it go back up? I don't know what Bill Gates is doing with this company right now. Did he abandon it? It's not looking good. It is not looking good for this. This is not a hopeful, optimistic chart. It's just headed straight to zero, the way it's looking. And because of the incoming administration, the Trump transition team with RFK and all that, this is not looking good for any pharmaceutical company, especially a Bill Gates backed one. So I would steer clear of this. Yeah, I wouldn't buy this. I'm not very bullish on that, if you could, in case you couldn't tell. Nvidia, next stock, too expensive for me, but one of the greatest stocks in the market right now. $152, okay. So this video is a little selfish because it's all about, okay, where can I spend my money? But in a way, in a sense, if you don't have a lot of money and you're in a similar position as me and you only have like $100 left to invest, and you're either you don't have a lot of money or you only want to risk $100, this is the video for you. You're trying to really weigh your options and be very frugal, very discerning in terms of, okay, this is a no-brainer trade, NBT. Nvidia, the last year, we can look at the clear support levels. So clearly the support is around 80 to 100. And resistance is clearly 130, 140. So if you have $100, you buy it at 100, goes up to 40, you make $40. So you make 50%. Is it worth it for small investors like me? No, it isn't. Only if you have billions of dollars, then yeah, it's worth your time and money. We've got 7 left, and we're going to close out this video. So things are looking up. I'm very optimistic, but I'm going to be very, very disciplined, very a hard sell. I'm not just going to buy any stock. I'm going to be vetting all these stocks moving forward more than I ever have been in the past. I've been moving forward because you have to, otherwise you're not going to survive. Rambus. Okay, Rambus is a really interesting company. look at this chart in the last 5 years. It's pretty stable. Very stable. So resistance, support and resistance is so easy to see here. Support is 30 to 40. Resistance is easily 60, 70. So that is a great stock. Great entry point at 30 to 40. Okay. Technical difficulties. Sorry, came in even with my mouth. I have technical difficulties. So let me put a buy for, I was going to say Rumble. No, it's Rambus. Take a look on my phone. It's not working here for me. So 40 is a great entry point for Rambus. That is this really bounced back too. So 40. And it's been as high as 70. So I'm going to actually personally wait for 30. I think it can go down to 30. So I'm not going to waste any time on that for that loading. For that to load Tesla. Great stock. And I think Elon Musk has a great future in the next 4 years. He's got Tesla is really going to explode in the next 4 years. He's just got the world in the palm of his hands right now. Okay, what is that? 350. That is an interesting little needle. So this is at, I want to say 52-week high right now. Yeah, it's really close to that. The 52-week low is 138. So this is a great entry point at 140. If you can get it at 140 and below, wow. Bravo if you did that. 200 is looking like support. I don't see it going down to 140 again next 4 years, but if it does, that is a crazy steal. So let me put that as my notification, 140, maybe even 150, because this is a great stock, as we all know, Tesla. And I did make some money in Tesla before the stock split. I can't remember how much it was though, but so overall maybe I am even Steven, I don't know. Let's just say I broke even. And right now I'm trying to climb my way back up. So 140, 150, Tesla entry point, resistance clearly at 300, and we're right back up 300. Okay, moving on to GameStop. This one is heavily targeted, heavily shorted. And it's actually looking pretty good in the last month. It's gone up from below $20 to 30. So this is actually looking really healthy right now. This is a pretty big turn of events for GameStop. It's up practically 50% from this 20, and then now it's at 30, yeah. I mean, will it squeeze back up to, look at that. Yeah, that's a good buy, even at 20. That is really interesting. Volume's good. I think that's what it was. The volume drove this. So if Hollow could only get the volume, it'll go up too. But the market looks to be on a negative overall, so that's why I did react to the market. The market's being low. Would I recommend GameStop? I don't know. It's been so heavily targeted. It's not like foolishness to even buy this. You're putting a target on the back of your head. Like, why would you put a target on yourself? I don't know why you do that. So I'm not going to recommend that. But it's interesting to watch the chart. And look at this one really shoot up from 450 to 660. Yeah, Kodak is really at a 52-week high, it looks like. Yeah, it is. Literally hit the 52-week high just today. It was at 330. It was at 330 earlier this year, and it's doubled. So I am really bullish on Kodak, just from a technical analysis standpoint. And my entry point, personally, is, I'm going to say 330. 330. Why risk it? Just go for the 330. Even if this breaks 4, it's still a good buy. And then it goes right back up to $5-6. But it did take a long time to get there. Let's not forget that it was pretty much fluctuating between 450 to 580 for the last year, except for this part here. This is a long-term hold and it's just a long-term stock. Look at 2020. $2 all the way up to 21, and then it went down to 6, it went down to 320, went up to 7. So yeah, I've been following the stock for a long time, and I can tell you with great confidence this is a good buy at $3 to $3.30. You don't want to buy this any higher than $4, because I've been tracking this since 2020. You don't want to buy this is the wrong entry point. If you think it's $4, it isn't. It really is $3 to $3.30. You just have to wait for that, and you'll probably double your money. So I'm gonna put this on my list as well. Kodak for alerts, and we're putting the target as 330 because I think it will get back down there eventually. That's the way stocks work. They go down, they go up, and then when it gets down to 330, I'll sell it at 6, whatever. But it's going to take a long time. That's the only problem. So this is a good stock, but it's going to take a long time to cook. So I don't know if that's worth the wait. Might be better off waiting with other stocks where the turnover isn't as long. You won't be waiting for a year. You'll be waiting maybe 4 months or less. So we're going to finish with 2 of the greatest stocks of all time, in my opinion, in the stock market. 2 of the best companies of all time. I'm not saying ethically they're the best, but I'm talking about viability and just how much money they've made, and they've become such key, I want to say, pieces of Americana, just like they're classic American companies, success stories. And again, ethically they're not the greatest, but they're just known the world over. They've become such giants of corporate monopoly and business and everything. So Walmart's the first one. And just look at this chart. It's just monstrous. I remember Walmart just couldn't break $50 for the longest time. It was stuck at 50. It was stuck at 50 for so long. Like really, really long. It was stuck. Even at 20, it was at 20 to 40 to 50. Just couldn't break the ceiling of 50. Finally did in 2024. Finally did. Yeah, we're gonna wait. Maybe we'll just look at it in my phone. If it's not gonna load, I'll just tell you the story on my phone. So, okay, I'm looking at it on my phone. Yeah, I just couldn't break. I couldn't break 20. It was at $20, 10 to 20 for the longest time, for like a decade, solid decade. Couldn't break $20. And then finally in 2010, so from 2000 to 2010, okay, you're seeing it too. It just couldn't break $20 for a whole decade. And then from 2010 to 2020, yeah, it did break 20. And the new ceiling was 25. It couldn't break 25 until 2020 of all, the pandemic, where everything, all the small businesses shut down. And yeah, it finally broke 25, and we can see it astronomically rose in 2019 to 2020. And when the pandemic was in full force, that's when it went to 50. But it just couldn't break the 50 ceiling until recently, in the last year. It really exploded. We can see it's practically doubled in the last. I can't really understand why it's almost doubled. Does this mean it's going to go to 200? I don't know. It might be the next Costco and go to 1,000. Who knows? So that is really interesting. I don't really see an entry point at this point. Maybe 50. I don't know, 50 and below. If it's shorted heavily, it might go back down to 50, 40. Maybe maybe that's what it is. Maybe the true support is 50 and below. I'm going to even say 40. This might go right back down to 40 and then go back up to 100 again. So I'm going to put a notification for 50 just to be realistic and see if this goes down. I'll be notified, like in the event of a stock market crash, and then buy that up at 40 and below. All right, closing out this video with McDonald's, one of the greatest companies of all time in terms of the stock market, in terms of brand name, in terms of brand recognition, in terms of a business that will never go out of business ever. Like, it'll never go out of business. It's like one of the most mainstay companies of all time. It's McDonald's. It'll be with us almost forever. Not saying it will, but I mean, of all companies, this will be one of the last to go. It's just world renowned, and everyone loves McDonald's fries. They're addictive. So let's look at McDonald's. What is the entry point here? I want to say 250. It's really a no-brainer stock. It's a no-brainer trade. It's just a little expensive, yeah. But the problem with McDonald's, although it's such a great stock and it's stable, it doesn't really explode. It is very stable. You're 150 at 220, 220 in the year 2020. And I'm going to take a look at this stock on my phone just to get a better idea of the story behind McDonald's. Okay, let's look here. Okay, so McDonald's in the last, I want to say, 40 years? It was at $3 in 1985, went up to 40 in 1999, and then went down to 16 and actually 14 in 2003, went up to 50 in 2007, went up to 80, 100 at 2011. So I'm here at 2011 right now. Went up to 100, so that's how you know these guys really mean business in terms of the stock market. Was at 100, went up to 120, so this is a really stable stock. Doesn't make a big killing until recently, 150, and then 200 in 2019. So this is a long hold. You're going to have to hold this for 10 years plus, but it's better than a... McDonald's is like the bank, okay? Think of it like this. You can put your life savings in a bank. And let's say it's $10,000, right? And the bank will give you, at best, I want to say 4% return. So $10,000 times 4%, they'll give you back $400 in a year. And over 10 years, that's what? That's $4,000. They're going to give you $4,000 over 10 years off of 10,000. But McDonald's stock, and this goes up, let's say it goes up 10% every year. So McDonald's will give you, and that's a conservative estimate, if they're giving you 10% and that's $1,000 a year, they're going to give you 100% of your money back in 10 years. Okay, so that is way better than any bank or mutual fund. Or the only thing better than McDonald's stock, in my opinion, is Bitcoin. That has a rate of return of like 60% and higher. Bitcoin right now is too high. I think it's due for a fall. We can see it sort of flatlining somewhat, but we will see in the next 4 years. I think it's going to go higher than even 130, maybe even to 200,000. So especially as it becomes more rare and you have less Bitcoin circulating, I think there's a limit of, I think something like 27 million. I can't remember right now. What's the Bitcoin limit? I think is 27 million. I don't remember right now. I'm going to look it up and give you the right number. Okay, 21 million Bitcoins are that's the limit that can be reached So once, because it is capped at 21 million, once all those Bitcoin are fully in circulation and fully being held and no one's trading them, because most of the Bitcoin supply is being held in hardware wallets, being held in cold storage, not really being used as a monetary currency to trade, like the same way as US dollars are, or gold and so on. Bitcoin it's gonna go really crazy. It's gonna go up to a million each, and I'm not gonna be surprised when that day happens. It's gonna happen probably in the next 10, 20 years, maybe even 50 years, but it's gonna happen in the less than a century from now, for sure. The only thing stopping Bitcoin is quantum computing and the ability to hack into Bitcoin and fraudulently create fake Bitcoins, for lack of a better term. Because once quantum computing becomes a reality, then the Bitcoin blockchain can be easier to kind of doodle with and play around with and falsify, and I don't know, maybe even create its own. It becomes a monster of its own, on its own quantum computing, and then you combine that with artificial intelligence and becomes like a apocalyptic Skynet kind of scenario. So in any case, Bitcoin, McDonald's, those are the two best investments. The only thing with McDonald's is it's not for somebody who has $300, because you're going to be stuck with the 300, just stuck there in cold storage for 10 years, and what will go up. Let's just say I put in the money here, around here, $100. So what, I made $200 in 10 years. That's not great, obviously. I made $200 in 10 years. Okay, can you live off $200 in a year? Can you live off $100 in a year? No. But if you did put your life savings in it, let's just say it's, I don't know, 100,000. Let's put 100,000 into McDonald's. And you divide that by $100, yeah, so that'd be 1,000 shares, and we know it's gone up about $200, so that is $200,000. So yeah, $200,000 over 10 years is that makes sense. That's still more than the bank would give you, as far as I know, anyway. So that is a no-brainer trade. I just think the growth potential for McDonald's isn't the greatest, but it is so stable, and if you are clueless as to, okay, which stock should I trust in, McDonald's is the way to go. McDonald's, Costco, Walmart. And that's when you have enough money, 500,000, 100,000, 1 million. Because even at $1 million and you buy McDonald's at $300 per share, you'll get 3,000 shares, and let's say it goes up by $50, then that's still a substantial amount of money. That's about 1/10 of a million, just over 1/10, and it probably goes up by $50 in the next 5 years anyway. So it's a no-brainer trade. So all that to say is, I'm back in the game, and full transparency, you're going to see exactly how much money I have invested going forward, and that's it's going to be no more than $200, because that's all I have left in terms of being able to. That's how much money I'm willing to risk right now, and I want to prove whether my methods are going to work based on the Quick Fingers Luke method of discerning true support, true resistance, and yeah, that's it. So we're gonna post this video. I don't really care what people think less of me or whatever. I mean, this is life. Things are hard right now for me personally, and I'm sure people are having challenges just trying to struggle to pay the bills, find affordable groceries, pay the rent, etc. It's just, life is getting hard, but we'll see what happens in the next 4 or 5 years, You set your 4-year plan, your 5-year plan, and I don't think I'm going to be stuck in the $200 level for too long. But and neither will you if you have only $100, $200 US. You have to stick to your guns. You have to never give up. And you know what? Like Rocky said in Rocky Balboa, that fine movie, he gave one of the greatest speeches to a son and basically said, you're not weak. You're stronger. You're better than this. Just never give up. And I'm kind of paraphrasing, but essentially, I don't know. I want to listen to it, but if I do that, I'm going to be copyright struck, and I'm going to have a copyright strike on this channel. I don't want that. So basically, look up Rocky Balboa motivational speech, and you'll hear it, and that really shook me up to the point that I never gave up, and you should never give up. So I'm going to be, again, moving forward, full transparency. You're going to see exactly how much money I have for this new portfolio I'm going to open. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it right now. It's not Crypto Trader. It might be, maybe 2024. I don't know. I'm not sure what to call it. Maybe Apex Investor 3.0, perhaps. I'm not sure. In any case, that's all for this video. Thanks for your time, and until next time, God bless you all, and God bless your investments.